Hello, all you fellow Dusty Dogs and travelers of the trail out there. My name is Dusty Yoti here for DIOT Gaming, and welcome back to Winds of Change. Last time, everything went to shit because holy crap, Sophie, Halen, and Shane dropped in and staged a surprise attack on us that we're pretty sure killed Domik, and nearly killed us. The thing is, as you can see here on the screen, Domik is alive, due to some, hopefully due to some weird shit that we did with the idol, with the true spirit idol here in the caves beneath the Museo. And we also prevented Grizz from sacrificing himself to the idol for it, and instead decided to use it ourselves to kind of free everything from the spirit armor. A lot of shit is going on right now, or what had gone on recently. We're currently trapped in a cave with this guy right here, who appears to have taken the body of the former elder of Valenorth and the leader of the rebellion, Salus, and he's about to hopefully answer some questions that we've been having. So,
Who are you?
The idol is no more. Its energy was released. It may still glow, but it will soon go dim. Lifeless. Energy must be stored somewhere. Less wasteful. Much of it went into that sword you carry. Some of it was used to heal your wounds. The rest? Well, we found a vessel to use.
A vessel?
This body expired long ago. It offered no resistance and no identity. We thought it would be fitting. We desired a voice.
oh yeah, you have been dead 20 years. There's not exactly much. There's not exactly much in the way of a spirit sitting there. So, yeah. So that means the wish worked, but brought about a couple of weird consequences as a result. So what is this? Just a bunch of spirits incarnate inhabiting this guy then?
Who is we?
We are what you call the spirit realm. Until now, our power was stored only in objects. That, and vessels which had their own voice, like you.
Yeah, so the general spirits realm has decided to just take form in this guy. Holy crap. He looks at me.
So, let me get this straight. The power released from the idol healed us, and it took over Salus's body so it could talk.
You sound like you're not believing any of this, Domik.
Correct.
So, I'm talking to the spirit realm right now.
A portion. The rest resides in his body and the sword. However, the spirit realm is just a term you created to define us. We are more than that, and we finally have a voice in your world.
So wait. There is so little spiritual energy left that 90% of it resides in two people sitting in this room right now and a sword that one of us happens to carry. Just how fucked is this place? Domik gulps, getting a little frightened.
Are you peaceful?
That is a relative term.
Are you going to hurt us?
No.
What is your purpose?
An impossible question. Do you know your purpose?
No, I guess not.
Well, give points for trying, at least.
We only wish to aid you. Please do not question. It would please us greatly to see the triumvirate fall. We are their victims, just as much as you are, Domik.
So even the spirits fucking... Hello, Smooth. Doing good? But yeah, apparently even the spirits hate the triumvirate, so, cool, we got him on that. We got that point, at least. I'll take it.
Victims?
You do not know the truth of what we are. It is understandable, because we could never tell. Using this voice, we wish to make our suffering known. And using this body, we wish to enact our vengeance. If this is acceptable, we will join you after rescue. If rescue comes, that is. Until then, we talk.
Domic nods. He's taking this very well, actually. After all, he's talking to the corpse of his former leader. But a strategist needed to adapt to change and overcome it. Or maybe he's just numb from the trauma from his events.
Of course, but you need to explain. What is the truth of the spirit realm? Were we so wrong that you needed a voice?
We do not blame you for your interpretation. Given your situation, it made perfect sense. But yes, you were wrong. Very wrong.
Me and Domic look at each other once more. I'd never believe this if we didn't just cheat death. But given the circumstances, we can't deny the truth. This is a living embodiment of the spirit realm. Much like the idols, but able to walk and talk as well. If that was the case, then there were no more secrets. He would tell us everything about the spirit realm. The undying questions of our history, finally answered. What was their purpose, and why did they influence us? The answers would change everything. Forever. Eventually ending up in the war room, everyone looks around frantically. Which is much longer until they notice the back corner of the room was caved in. Rather than digest the current events, they search for Domic and the Seer.
They must be down with the idol.
Can we even get down there?
Go back to the crew quarters, Fortin. You too, Valessa. Bring us some equipment. We should be able to reach them if we dig.
Of course. What should we look for?
Pickaxes, shovels, stuff like that. Anything to help us get through that rubble.
Right.
They both run off in search of supplies. It was clear the tunnels caved in, but how bad was it? They cling on to the hope that everybody survived.
Hey, are you sure you don't want to join them? Shouldn't they have some sort of protection?
No, everything will be fine. Alex and his forces are on guard. Nobody else will be coming or going.
Then what about Sovi? Do you think he's down there?
No, he's probably long gone.
But I didn't see him run off anywhere. We were all in the tunnels, weren't we?
That's the point, Pro. You don't see a man like him. He comes and goes as he pleases.
Oh, okay.
He crosses his arms, both confused and concerned.
What should we do while we wait? Are you sure you don't want me to help them?
I'm certain. We need to talk, Pro.
About what?
Let's say Domic did fall in combat. What would we do then? What's our next step?
I don't want to think about that. Losing Salus was more than enough. I'm sure he's alive. We'll find him.
But what if he's not? We need to think, Pro. Things would be in our hands.
Side note, it keeps popping up with Grizz's icon over here. I have no idea why. I'm assuming that's just a mild glitch. It is kind of confusing, though, because it makes me think, like, is Grizz going to come back in? I mean, because he already stormed in once. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to do so again.
Our hands?
Yes, we'd be the new leaders. How would we come back from this?
I don't know if we can.
That's why I sent those two away. I don't think they'd be ready to hear this. There's a very real chance that the Seer is dead. If that's the case, then there's nothing we can do. We'd never be able to win this war conventionally. That blade in their power was all we had, Pro.
Well, hopefully it's not a bad one, because it only started recently. Like, this act. Like I said, War Table Act 3, and yeah. So it's only come up now. So hopefully it's not, like, terrible game-breaking thing, but yeah.
I don't know, Ulrich. But I feel like they're alive. They wouldn't give in so easily.
I guess we'll find out.
And we need to trust in the spirits, right? They showed Domic a vision of our victory.
But they also showed Valinorth's destruction. We know that was false. They attacked our HQ instead.
Are you saying the spirits were lying?
I don't know, Pro. It's too complicated for me to say. But something tells me that we can't trust the spirits anymore. If they come out from that tunnel, it'll be as changed men.
There's going to be a third person coming out, and you're all going to be changed after this one. The mysterious man takes a deep breath before starting to talk. Dominic and I sit forward in awe, almost in disbelief at the situation. The Spirit One was using a vessel to speak directly to us. I'm not sure if we should be honored or terrified. I mean, I personally, by this point, if I was in this situation, I would be terrified as fuck.
The rulers of this world, the Triumvirate, already you take up arms against them. This is good. We were unable to do so in our current state. We were trapped.
Traps?
It all happened in the blink of an eye. Our glorious monarchy, destroyed in an instant. They showed no mercy. They showed nothing. Something happened. Something beyond words. We were simply living life, and then we were not. They forced us to watch them defile our world.
So there definitely was a time before the Triumvirate.
I don't understand.
Neither do we. But that is what happened. They stole our future and our bodies. We were prisoners, bound by celestial chains as they had their way with our world.
So wait, so spirit idols and leaking power out of them basically was the only way you were able to do anything? What kind of eldritch otherworldly being are we dealing with here if that's what the Triumvirate is able to do?
So they didn't create Alestia?
No. But they created you, the new residents of Alestia, built in their image of perfection to counter our corrupt nature. They stole our world and our future, handing it off to you.
Counter our corrupt nature? Well, what the fuck does that make the spirits if the spirits were corrupt?
This is incredible.
We do not share the same opinion.
Well, that's about as blunt as you could get with that one.
No, I meant the story. I can't believe I'm hearing this right now. We always knew there was more to this world.
This is why we needed a voice. We've suffered for eternities, unable to speak, forced to watch, and cry for help upon deaf ears.
I have a few questions.
Of course.
So, the spirit realm is more like a prison, and it held you and your people captive. Huh. Then what are these visions and idols all about? Almost all of our culture has been built around them, especially Valinorth, which is where the seer comes from. Rumor has it that the Triumvirate wanted to destroy the idols.
Over time, we were forced to adapt. We changed. The idols are a manifestation of our desire to reach out. They gave us the ability, however minimal, to speak with you.
The visions, you mean?
Yes, but our power was limited, and we were censored. This is why we could never tell you the truth through visions. Whenever we did, the Triumvirate made you see something else.
So it's a battle of wills, basically, between you and the Triumvirate every single time somebody has a vision.
That's what they did this time, then? We saw Valinorth getting attacked and strategized about that. But it seems like their plan was always to attack us down here.
Indeed. which is why we chose not to create another idol. Instead, we chose to influence the members of their honor guard, the barracks, the living quarters, the weapons. We did it all for you.
Okay. So, I mean, still, the giant portion of people got cut the fuck down, but good prep. Good prep work. Because, seriously, this might allow us to bounce back after this.
We did it so you would survive this trap and help us seek vengeance. It seems the cost was dire, but we succeeded. We shall succeed again. We wish to aid your assault on Balteus and take back our homeland.
So you come from Balteus?
We lived all over Alestia, but Balteus was our capital. The castle there housed the monarch, our king or queen. We may have been corrupt, but we lived in peace. We were happy.
So, once again, can you explain this whole corrupt thing? 'Cause, yeah.
What do you mean by corrupt?
Thank you, Damek.
We are not certain. Perhaps there is inherent evil in all of us. The Triumvirate deemed that a flaw, and rewrote the world. When your kind was first made, you were mindless slaves, forced to carry out the Triumvirate's bidding. No free will. That is a gift we gave to you through the idols we created. Slowly, our corruption merged with the purity of your kind.
Okay.
That was the first step. After that, we created seers, beings capable of hearing our plight and leading insurrections. To this day, all have failed. We were not strong enough.
So I don't know exactly how long this world has been around exactly, but you're telling me this has been a centuries-long gambit to finally actually overthrow the Triumvirate? I mean, I'm still confused about some of this shit, but I'm kind of down with it.
Wait, I know where this is going.
The man stands up, motioning his arms to suggest that we do the same. Damek and I both do as instructed, dusting ourselves off while looking up at him.
Yes. That is why we gave the seer all of our power. Enough to wield that blade against your creators and our captors. The timing seemed correct. It is a gamble, but with favorable odds. However, there is another matter at hand. There is no more spirit realm. The idols are all gone, and the power resides within us and that blade. The power within you, Seer, is immense. You carry on our legacy. So now, I will call you what you are.
He immediately kneels down and looks at the floor. If I wasn't mistaken, it looks like he's swearing fealty.
Rightful heir to the throne of the monarchy, my king. I will serve you in this fight to take back our world, and together we will all be free from their grip.
King?
This has a vaguely young adult fantasy story beat feel about it, but I don't want the responsibility yet! We exchanged glances, confused and shocked. The power inside of me made me heir to the throne. Knowing the truth of the spirits was enough, but this is too much. I take a few steps back, overwhelmed. How could I possibly be expected to process this?
Maybe we should slow down here.
We must not. To slow down would be giving them time. They've had enough. We've watched for far too long. The weight of our kind is upon you. Do not let us down.
Before I can even react, I hear a sound from the other side of the room. The rubble that blocked the exit started to crumble and fall to the ground. I can hear the harsh impact of a pickaxe. They found us! The man remains knelt on the ground. I tell him to rise. He obeys without question, clearly respecting my authority. He considers me his king. I have no idea what to do or say.
As you command.
All of us turn and look at the exit. It isn't much longer until light pierces through. The final bit of rubble is out of the way, and Ulrich emerges.
Domek, we were so worried that you...
Okay, I see you picked up on him too. He immediately stops in his tracks, staring at us. It's clear that it's shocked at the sight of Silas. Fortem, Valessa, and Pro enter shortly after.
What?
Ulrich stepped forward, immediately cautious. He looks ready to grab his blade at a moment's notice. I can understand how his confusion and shock manifests this way.
At ease, Ulrich. I'll try my best to explain.
Domek steps forward too, as if to guard both of us.
Everybody, let's go back to the atrium. There's much to discuss, and I'll tell you all the truth.
He looks over at the mysterious man and simply gulps.
Things just got a lot more complicated. For all of us.
So our main party is alive, at least. We all enter the atrium, and I notice Ulrich is still visibly shocked and angry. Pro seems the same, however it's less intense. They seem to recognize Salus. Even Valessa and Fortem seem anxious. Our old and very dead elder, alive. Bodies scatter the floor, as well as pieces of white and gold armor. Rebels cry, cradling the bodies of their fallen comrades in arms. There weren't many people left standing. This was a catastrophic attack. Domek walks over to a nearby staircase and waves over to me and Salas. We follow after him and slowly ascend the stairs. It's time to tell everybody. When we get to the top, he rests his hands on the railing, taking a deep breath.
I guess this is it. Where do I even start?
He shakes his head before clearing his throat. He had a lot of ground to cover. The noise echoes through the atrium, and the surviving rebels turn to look. Seeing Domek at the top of the stairs, they gather to listen to their leader.
They say that mercy is the mark of a great man. But there are no great men in war. We've seen that here today. War is only a game to see how much you can lose before giving up. But trust me, we will never give up. Join me, brothers and sisters. Grab a blade from the floor, even if it belonged to their honor guard. Take it. I'd prefer that. The Triumvirate may think they've crippled our resolve, but no. Each swing of that blade will carry the weight of our fallen comrades behind it. We will use that weight to crush their army and make them pay for this attack.
More rebels start to crowd around, looking up at Domek. They have smiles on their faces as they nod along to his words. This inspires him to continue his speech, his morale rising quickly.
When the Triumvirate looks down on that blade in their final moments, I want them to know that they sealed their own fate. Mark my words, family. The Triumvirate shall fall. They will burn for what they've done here today. And in the end, they will beg for the mercy they were too unkind to give to us. We will free this world from their grip and deliver it to the hands of the righteous. Our dynasty will be marked with blood, yes, but theirs was marked with far more.
Jesus Christ, Domek! This is a turn from your old self! He looks over at Salas and motions for him to step forward. Doing so, a lot of the rebels look shocked, much like Ulrich and Pro.
The Spirit Realm has given us one final blessing. The truth. Standing here before you is not Salas. He has become a vessel. This is the Spirit Realm embodied, powered by our underground idol. Driven by the howls of countless spirits, he seeks vengeance. But he has also brought with him the answers to our every question. No longer shall we live in the dark. We know the true nature of things.
Everyone mumbles amongst themselves, clearly confused. I glance over at Ulrich and Pro, and they seem a bit more calm. As odd as this truth was, they seem to trust Domek no matter what.
We are not the only victims of the Triumvirate's wrath. The Spirit Realm is not what we believed. Not at all. What we cherished and worshipped was a prison. A prison to house the previous residents of Alestia. Residents that were deemed too corrupt by the Triumvirate. As they were pushed aside, we were created to serve. The Triumvirate did not create our world, but they did create us in the image of perfection. We were pure and existed only to follow their every order. But over time, the previous residents reached out from their prison. Growing in strength, they created what we called the Spirit Idols. These were used to slowly give our people the gift of free will. Though pure, we lacked the abilities to be ourselves. This was the greatest gift we could ever ask for. They opened our eyes, allowing us to fight back.
So you're telling me Valanoth was like Stepford?
But so far, every insurrection has failed. This is what we will change, thanks to the Seer.
He waves me over and I take a few steps forward. The rebels stare at me with hope in their eyes. A perfect counter to the despair I saw earlier.
You see, the spirit realm is no more. All of the energy in that realm has found a new home. Some of it is in this vessel, and some of it is in the blade. But the largest portion resides within the Seer. That is why he is uniquely capable of wielding the blade. Alestia's previous residents, the ancient monarchy, are responsible. They saw a way to help us defeat the Triumvirate and took it. But you see, we no longer fight for ourselves. We fight for everybody. If we lose, both us and the monarchy perish. We cannot let this happen. We are the only people capable of carrying out this objective. There won't be another chance. No more seers, no more blades. We will show them that their vision of a pure world is flawed. But, in order to do so, I must step down as the general. You see, this army is no longer mine to lead. I'm sorry. This new truth changes both the world and our cause.
It's gonna be on me, isn't it? Dominic motions for me to come closer, so I do. He smiles. I'm standing right beside him, resting my hands on the banister. I see such a wide array of emotions coming from the rebels' faces.
As I mentioned, the Seer was blessed with immense power. But what he truly has within is the souls of the monarchy, giving him the strength to use that blade. He is our champion. But he is more than just our champion. He is our king, rightful heir to the throne of Alestia, our true ruler. By decree of the spirits, we are his to command.
Okay, calm down, Dominic. I get your excitement, I get your enthusiasm, but please just lot to take in at once here. All eyes are on me now. I glance over at Valessa and Fortim. They are in complete shock and awe at this revelation. But I am too. Without saying anything, I reach back for the blade and pull it out. I look at the rebels and hold the blade up in the air. The beams of light from the surface seem to illuminate its beauty. This elicits rigorous applause from the rebels as they cheer me on. Hey, our troop morale finally got back up a little. I smile, looking down at my friends and comrades. In this moment, it seems like the hope we lost had finally returned. There was still lots to take care of, but we knew that this wasn't over.
If you'll excuse us, we need to make some new plans. But I'll have an itinerary posted in the barracks by morning. Until then, please do your best to clean up this atrium. And please, bring the bodies down to the Spirit Idol. It seems only fitting, and there's plenty of room. With that said, you're all dismissed. Thank you.
Dominic turns to face me and Salus. Or Salus, I guess I should say, because that's how the majority of people do. I heard Salus once or twice earlier, but I think most people I've heard have been saying Salus, so... He smiles, realizing his job is done.
Well then, back to the war table. We need to talk about our next step. Without a bigger army, we won't win. And I think I know what to do. Come on, bring your friends too. I'll grab Ulrich and Pro. Let's do this.
Something seems different about Dominic. He's not as happy and energetic as he was before, but he seems a lot more confident and resolute. When I get to the bottom of the stairs, Valessa and Fortim appear. I can tell that they're overwhelmed, but they also seem happy for me. They seem to disregard the resurrection of Salus and focus on me.
I always knew you were special, but a king? And no more spirit realm. What's going to happen?
That is so cool, Seer! Or, I guess I should call you King now. Or maybe Monarch? I don't know, it's just cool!
On your tits, Fortem. He laughs and shuffles in place awkwardly. They may not want to talk about it, but they know. Everything feels off right now. Things are so confusing.
I hope that we can work all of this out. Let's go plan our next move with Domik. I wonder what he has in mind for us.
I bet it's something amazing. He might not be the leader, but he's still a strategist. We need to make sure that we come back from this loss.
Valessa looks at all the bodies on the atrium floor. It's also uncovered in blood, likely to stain for a long time. If Zalus can come back from the dead, then what about them?
Yeah, we can't let their deaths be in vain. Like Domik said, they need to give us strength. The only thing we can do is hope that it's enough.
We all arrived back at the war table, taking sighs of relief. Domik's speech was great. It helped the rebels find hope again. But they need more than words to win the upcoming battle.
So, we need to find a new army. But recruiting Mazaeans would take far too long. We need to take drastic measures and fast. This is where my initial plan comes into play. We can use that spiritual energy to create seers. They could see the outcome of every battle, every attack.
That doesn't make any sense, Domik. Visions lied to the king, led us into a trap. The Triumvirate could just do that all over again.
Go back to the seer. I like that better. Especially you. You calling me king after we just had that moment in the room like last session. Feels just a little tiny bit awkward right now. I notice he uses my new title. It still feels odd.
I'm not sure that's how it works. Beforehand, the visions came from their prison. That means the Triumvirate could tamper with the outflow. But now, all of that is in the hands of the king. There's nothing more getting in the way, see what I mean? The power of the spirit realm is now ours to wield, Ulrich.
That still doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm isn't what we thought it was, Domik. It was just a prison. How can that help us tell the future?
Yeah, you're right, Smooth. It is a much more unique terminology. Like, reserve king, like, for when we're done with all of this. And then you have the my friends you bow to no one move. Like, do that. But for right now, just seer is fine. Before Domik can respond, Salus steps forward.
That was our culture. We all had this ability. It is how the monarchy lived in peace and prosperity. There was no danger left unchecked. No chance. The world was being guided to the one true future. It is not unlike the concept of fate that some believe in, but it is tangible. We knew where we were going. Always. That is why the Triumvirate was such a shock to us. An unknown variable in a future we completely mapped out. It was too late to adapt. We were already shackled. We slowly learned to lend our foresight to your world. However, we were only strong enough to help one individual. This is the concept you have learned to call the Seer, or Seeress. Domik's theory is sound. There is no longer any interference. The source of this power is now the king, rather than a prison. He can freely give this power to any individual he pleases.
That still feels weird, but okay.
Can he give it to himself?
We would not recommend this course of action. Every vision he induces would reduce his overall strength. It would whittle away at the monarchy, slowly killing us all. Furthermore, he does not know how to ration this power. He could end up expending almost all of it with a single vision. We would recommend giving a small portion of power to others. However, they would be rendered useless after this war. Using this power would be too much for their mind.
Useless?
They would be unable to think for themselves, or at all. The king could only do this because he grew up with that power. Just like our culture. To receive it too late can wreak havoc on the mind.
Okay, so a very, 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 very double-edged sword. I have an idea! I have an immediate idea that would be probably evil, 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 evil as fuck, but I want to do it. Bestow a hecking massive vision to Sophie. That's the plan that I have.
So they'd just sit around until they died?
Unless you fed them.
There must be another way. Just look in front of you. That energy could be used to bring back the forces we lost. We could create more vessels for the monarchy. More soldiers.
Yeah, but that's now starting to get into what the Triumvirate was doing with the Honor Guard territory, Ulrich. Ulrich was right. There was more than one choice here. You need to get to... Yeah, that's the problem, wouldn't it? That is the problem, isn't it? Ulrich was right. There was more than one choice here. It wouldn't be right to condemn our people to a zombie-like existence. If their minds died out after the war, they'd have no victory to enjoy.
We would not advise this action. We can barely maintain this form. The wounds that ended Salus are burning, as if freshly inflicted. It is only tolerable because of the immense power within us. Lesser beings would be feeling eternal pain, and death does not come easily to a vessel like this. Wounds endured during the war would add to this pain.
Oof.
We would not wish this punishment upon anybody. Life in eternal pain, a constant memory of their own death. They perished for your cause. Give them the rest they deserve.
I don't know. An army of seers would be great for strategizing, but stealing their own future from them? That's wrong. On the other hand, bringing back the dead? I'm unsure.
The pain would fuel their rage and make them stronger. They could eventually learn to manage it with medicine. At least they'd have a future. The seers certainly wouldn't.
I'm saving because I detect a thing coming up here. Save. There we go.
There must be something else we can do.
Not if you wish to make use of this power. It is powerful when used, but limited in scope. I will help the king carry out whichever he decides.
Right, I guess it's not my place to choose. Sorry, I must be still adjusting to this change.
No, it's good. You're like the, what is it? The advisor position still? He is the most faithful soldier I have, and you are now the advisor position, Dominic. I still want you here. Suddenly all eyes are upon me. I have no idea what to say or do. Eternal pain, or robbing futures. Creating seers would ruin their mind after the war. They just sit in a chair while we fed them to remain alive. But an army of vessels, they feel nothing but excruciating pain. And not even death would come to free them from that pain. Their body could get ravaged, but the power would still be inside. If only it were possible to cure them of this pain after the war was over. Or for that matter, I wish it were possible to preserve the seers' minds. But neither option has a foreseeable cure. This is a choice involving the war. We needed an immediate boost in forces, and it seemed that no cost was too high. What should I do? Okay, saving now, because this appears to be right before. Okay, let's ask Valessa and Fortum.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I really can't help you this time.
You're asking too much of me. Sorry. This isn't something I could possibly decide.
Fuck! Okay. A, create seers. B, create an army of vessels. Oh, fuck, I have no idea. Oh, why do both of them sound wrong? Can we postpone that? We don't like this decision at all. Lean more to Sears? Oh god, but... Fuck, does that mean we lose party members? Shit! Oh, I don't like this. Let's save. One more time so it's actually at the decision point. Sears. Our purity went up! An army of seers would be the most useful. With foresight, they could dodge every attack. That would be essential as we attacked Balteus. They could help us strategize as well. But their true use would come on the battlefield. Calling out attacks and preventing ambushes. I make my choice known to my allies. I'm met with uncertain gazes as I expected. There was no right choice in this situation.
Very well.
So, there we have it. What happens next?
I will take the king to the idol and help. After that, we must all convene in this war room. A strategy is required for this newfound army.
They all nod and step closer to the table. I follow Salah's side of the room to carry out my duty. As we leave, I can hear them planning, and I feel hopeful. We will turn this defeat into a most profound victory. Under my leadership, we would witness the triumvirate fall. Okay, and also we are shit rows, so we're at 10 now. I follow Salus back to the room with the spirit idol. It's dark and dim. With its death, the monarchy was imprisoned no more. However, existing within vessels and the blade, was that considered freedom? I wonder what would happen to the monarchy after this war. Their bodies are likely long gone. What would become of them? I wonder if there's a way to reverse everything the triumvirate has done. But there's no time to think about that. It's time to create our army. Much to our luck before we began, Milas arrived at the Rebel HQ. Alongside him was a massive amount of people from Valenorth. His evacuation was successful. This meant far more soldiers. And it also meant a large number of volunteers. Knowing the importance of being a seer, they wanted to help. I suppose it was only fitting that we kept this tradition within Valenorth. Part of me felt bad. I was doing this to my own people. They were made aware of the repercussions, but still agreed. That made me feel a bit better, but didn't relieve me of the guilt. It was just like I thought. The blade is an extension of the wielder's mind. Salus told me how to wield it, and I rested the blade on the volunteers. Almost like a knighting ceremony in the stories of old, I declared them seers. But he also told me that the effects wouldn't happen immediately. They need to be watched carefully for the next day or so. When their power kicked in, they could act irrationally. After that, we make our way back to the war table. I can only hope that things go as planned. For our future. When you arrive, it seems like Domik already had a strategy.
Absolutely not.
Ulrich, we have no other choice. Our forces require more than one major boost. Going to Alarinthia, we could convert them to our side.
They don't want to be converted, they want blood. Plain and simple.
Oh! Oh, shit! Oh, I'm glad I went and read those books! What about Vivienne and her army?
Who?
I tell him about the book I read in the tavern. In Alarinthia, there's also a rebellion of sorts. A group who wants to change the way it's run.
I've never heard of this.
Apparently they follow after ancient ideals. An Alarinthian legend that wanted to change the nation. So far it seems like none have been strong enough to do so.
It's because strength always wins. Plain and simple. And with strength and power, they don't want anything to change. They only want to secure their own rule. Alarenthia is always the same.
Well, the mainland has never reached out before, right? If we team up with them, yourself included, we could win. If that's not possible, then maybe we can cut a deal with Draku.
Draku? He wants nothing more than to flex his power. He may rule over Alarenthia, but he's no ruler. Trust me.
Well, I think we have a good opportunity for him, actually. What better way to show strength than to dethrone gods? There's a couple of avenues to take here. We need to do this.
Excuse my lack of enthusiasm, Dominic. I think there are more pressing matters at hand. We still need to decide what to do with him.
He tilts his head towards Salus, who shakes his own head in return.
We require no maintenance. We simply wish to fight and teach. Our legacy demands to be passed on.
There you have it. I don't think there's anything we can do. He won't be of any harm to us, right?
That's what we thought about the Honor Guard. Are you really going to gamble on the spirits again? What if there's a chance he's just lying to us, Dominic?
You know, I do kind of understand the fact that you are a little bit, unsure about all this. I was about to say insecure, but no, unsure. It's not insecure, it's just unsure. And I get that, because, yeah, this is all crazy, and within the span of... Let's see, if we're talking real time here, then this whole thing has lasted approximately 2 hours. Like, that's it. So, yeah. The whole situation up to this point has lasted only approximately 2 hours. Maybe a little tiny bit longer. But, yeah, not a huge time difference.
We have no reason to lie, and we do not appreciate this accusation. Using the Honor Guard, we fortified these tunnels. It is thanks to us that you survived this ordeal. Many of our citizens were sacrificed in order to do this. Controlling the Triumvirate's forces was taxing, to say the least.
Then why did they kill almost all of us during the attack?
Our control was strong, but not strong enough. It was easy for the Grand Inquisitor to overpower us. Until today, he had never set foot in these tunnels. We do not mind answering questions, but we do mind being accused of wrongdoing. Everything we've done to help your cause.
To what end?
I'm making a connection, and I don't know if I like it. Well, I may like it, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The Triumvirate's end.
Ulrich concedes, simply shaking his head. It seems there was a counter to all of his objections.
I think we should just trust him, Ulrich. He's answered so many of our questions. Things make more sense now, wouldn't you say?
He doesn't respond. However, Fortum steps forward.
What should we call him, though?
We do not require a name.
You might think that, but you still need one. It's out of convenience, not necessity.
Convenience?
Yeah. Nobody really needs a name. It just helps us talk to one another, you know? It's especially helpful in battle, or while strategizing.
Very well. We will think of a name.
However, before much time passes, Valessa interjects.
How?
Huh?
That's what Dominic said, right? Driven by the howls of countless spirits. It seems fitting, given the circumstances.
And quite poetic, too.
Valessa,
We accept this moniker. However, we must discuss another matter. This strategizing you speak of, we wish to help.
That's my job, actually.
And look where it got you.
Oof. I almost want to do an F in the chat for Dominic. I feel bad for him. I still...
What?
faith in spirits caused all of this. Our judgment will not be clouded. We wish to take your place. Remember, you are no longer in charge. This is the king's choice.
You just calm down. Howl turns to face me.
We wish to be your advisor, monarch. We've watched this world for almost an eternity. We know how the enemy works and thinks. It would be the wisest course of action. Domic is responsible for this catastrophe. He would be unfit to give you advice in the future.
That is absolutely untrue. In this world, we learn from our mistakes, Howl. We don't condemn others based on bad decisions.
Perhaps that is why you are evil.
Jesus Christ!
There is no room for error in these final days. Perhaps in the future, you can atone for this.
Jesus Christ, his whole body went red like he's on fire. I could tell that they're about to get locked in a heated argument. To avoid this, I slam my hands down on the war table, startling them. A loud echo reverberates through the room as I assert my authority. Fuck! Well, time for another decision. Okay. Domic or Howl? That's our decision. You said this choice will affect Alestia, so oh god. Okay, we have a vote for Domic. It's probably going to be Domic then, because I don't think the other... We have another viewer, but they're not responding, I think. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would be torn, so yay, I have the chat here to tell me. Because it's like, Howl knows a lot of shit, but Domic has the more practical on-the-ground advice right now, but it feels weird. Domic will advise me, as he always has. Okay. Let us do a new save. Purity up! Oh, wait. Oh! Oh! Wait. A bunch of implications just went through my mind. So, previously, these guys were defining themselves as corrupt. And that the new stuff was, purity. Was pure. Does that mean that purity and corruption are actually reversed in possible meanings? Or is balance key? Uh-oh. I don't know if I'm overthinking this or not. Oh, no, I don't like this. Oh, God. I let them know that I want Domic to be my advisor. I agree with everything he said, and I still don't really know Howl. Being an advisor required both knowledge and teamwork.
Very well.
Thank you.
They still stared at each other with evil eyes. I could tell that animosity was growing between them. However, this was neither the time nor the place for that.
Those matters aside, we still need to make our next move. There's an upcoming ball in Alarinthia. It's held annually. The palace is open for a few days only. We can go. It's likely that Vivian will make a move against Dracu. If she does, we can use that as an opportunity to form an alliance. If she doesn't, then we can seek out an audience with Dracu. Either side would have a wealth of forces to offer. We need their aid if we're going to win the final battle. I'll get the boats ready. We can leave tomorrow morning. I'm sure Alex will be able to give us a capable ship. If we're going to make this ball, we need the best of the best. Ships were part of our terms, so I'm sure he'll be able to comply.
Gathers up some papers and starts to walk away.
Meet back here in the morning, all of you. We can go over any last-minute stuff before we leave. The rest, we'll have plenty of time to discuss on the voyage.
We all nodded at one another before leaving the room. I'm thankful that I'd be able to get some sleep, however little. I make my way back to my room, constantly checking my back. They'd never catch us off guard again. Next time we fought, it would be their end. Howl has now permanently joined the party. Okay. I enter my room and let out a loud sigh. I can finally relax. As short as my best would be, it would be better than no rest at all. I noticed I was followed, but I expected as much after what happened. It was Howl. He approaches slowly, with resolve in his steps. However, he doesn't seem angry in any way. That was good, since I sided with Dominic.
We must express displeasure at your decision. Dominic made a mistake and remains unpunished. The lives that were lost beg for justice. We are that justice.
Dominic was only believing in the spirits like we all do. Now that we know the truth, he will approach things differently. He would never intentionally lead us into danger. He's honorable.
Honor?
He crosses his arms, unimpressed.
Honor is a term used to stay the hand in difficult situations, Monarch. When the final drop of blood must be spilled, and your honor stops you, what then? Is the future of our world on the shoulders of those so weak?
He scoffs.
Do not concern yourself with honor. The enemy does not, and this is why they win. Concern yourself with the correct actions, not the right ones. That is all the advice we have for you today, Monarch. But we do not trust Dominic to make the right decisions in the future. The fact that he left the honor guard alive is proof of that. He hesitates. This hesitation will not go away simply because he knows what we are. The truth of the spirit realm does not change strategy on the war table. With that said, we will leave you be. Ruminate on this in the future, my king.
He gives me a slight bow as a sign of respect before leaving. Being the Exodus wielder was intense enough, but being the monarch... Thankfully I had the support of my friends. They would keep me strong. I lay down in bed. It isn't much longer before I drift off to sleep. When I wake up rested and refreshed, I head to the war room. Everyone's there as expected. It's time to get things moving. Dominic approaches the war table, fiddling with the wooden figures resting on top of it. They represent different things. The figure for the rebellion he places on Alarenthia. Our next objective was clear. We'd be sailing to the Far East to secure an alliance.
Each year Dracu holds a ball. Essentially, it's to show off his power. It's open to the public, which means Vivian will likely make a move. I'd say it's either an assassination attempt or a tournament request. During the ball, we will meet with both of them. Our goal is to secure an Alarinthian army to help us out. If we do this, our chance of success will increase tenfold. Each party, if they're willing, will likely request something in return. It may be impossible to avoid being caught up in Alarinthian politics. If it comes to anything extreme, we will have Ulrich help us out. I trust there are no objections?
Nobody raises a concern, but I can tell that Ulrich is upset.
We will set sail immediately after this meeting. I've already arranged transportation with our pirate allies. It's a 24-hour voyage, so pack your essentials. Food and drink have already been pre-packed. None of us should go hungry or thirsty during the trip. And there are enough beds for us all to sleep, too. The voyage will be a nice time to get some relaxation in. However, once we get to Alarinthia, we have to be serious. Our success directly affects our odds of surviving this war. We've ensured that our comrades received a proper burial. They're resting with the spirit idol, and we'll close off that passage. For their sake, please leave it undisturbed. They deserve rest.
He inspects a piece of paper in his hand before continuing.
The volunteers from Valinor are starting to have visions. They will accompany us to Alarinthia and help our cause. Thankfully, there were no side effects or losses. We have our army of seers, Monarch. Hopefully you'll get to meet them soon. With all of that said, I think it's time to end this meeting. Are there any questions before we head to the shipyard? Remember, once we leave, we may not be back for a while.
Fortem steps forward.
What exactly happens at this ball?
I'm not sure. Dancing and feasting, I'd imagine. Draku wants to pamper everybody he can. That's his goal. If his people are happy, then there's less fighting over the throne.
So, basically one big party, then?
Correct.
With probably a little bit more decorum than you're thinking, Fortem.
Awesome. The last party we were ever going to have was cancelled. Let's say we finally have your induction ceremony, eh, Seer? Except now it's not for being a Seer. It's for being a king.
Tell him your tits. It's not going to be that type. We all nodded at each other. It's true, my last ceremony was cancelled. It was Draku's party, but we could celebrate for our own reasons.
Just try not to draw attention to yourselves, all right? It may be a party, but Alarinthia's fate will change behind the scenes. Remember why we're there, and don't lose sight of our original goal.
Of course.
Fortem steps back, satisfied.
Why didn't Vivian make a move at any of the other parties? I guess I mean to ask, what makes this year special? What if we go there and she ends up doing nothing?
If that happens, then we focus on Draku. At the end of the day, we still have an option. We're just planning for many possible scenarios.
All right.
Although that was a fair point to bring up, Valessa. No idea how long ago the article I read in the tavern was written, so yeah. Valessa nods, her curiosity sated. There's a brief silence and no further questions.
Very well. Dismissed. Let's pack our things and meet at the docks. We'll set sail in 3 hours, so don't be late.
But that said, almost everybody rushes out of the room. Except for Al. He stays behind and eyes me down. Before I get ready to leave, I ask him what he wants.
We've been given a room in the crew quarters. Please stop by and see us before you leave. It is important for us to learn more about you.
He bows at me before leaving.
Until then, Your Highness.
He was definitely taking this monarch thing seriously. But given his culture and the power within me, it makes sense. I take one last look at the war table before heading out. The war table is used to track your relationships with each character. The amount of hearts indicates how many heart-to-hearts you have completed. When a character's heart gauge reaches 4, you can click them to access a special scene. These scenes are required to earn each character's loyalty. The loyalty of your followers affects both morale and their fate. Do not neglect heart-to-heart conversations or these special loyalty scenes. When you wish to depart for Alarinthia, return to the Mazeo docks. A new map icon will display by the ships at the Flynn shipyard. So we are currently farthest along with Fortem, and there is a Sovi scene. So let's do that. Let's do the Sovi. Sovi 7. Sovi and his crew quickly made their way back to the docks. Hiding in the alleyway much like before, they gathered their bearings. Things hadn't gone according to plan. Their true mission was a failure.
What happened, Sovi? I thought you had everything under control. Get in, kill the seer, and destroy the idol.
Rogue faction, Grizz!
It's not that simple, Halen. I tried my best, and it wasn't a total failure. We've dealt them a blow from which they'll never recover.
And you think the Triumvirate will be okay with that? They don't tolerate failure. I'll get dragged into this too. I don't want to suffer due to your inability to succeed, Sovi. Let's not even mention the Blade of Exodus. You just let them walk away with it. I can't believe you were so foolish.
Don't worry. We'll get the job done. They'll be happy enough with Damek out of the picture. It'll buy us time while we formulate another plan, Halen.
If you're lucky enough to get another chance, you mean. You'll need a pretty good excuse to get away with this.
He doesn't know Damek survived. He doesn't know Damek survived. He doesn't know that Damek survived. He doesn't know that Damek survived. There we go. I had to taunt you properly. Sovi sighs, looking down at the ground.
I hesitated, Halen. I had him in my grasp, and I hesitated. There was something in my head saying not to kill him. The same instinct I always listened to and am praised for.
Were you affected by the spirit idol seeping out? He might have been affected by the spirit idol leaking out power.
That instinct has yet to let me down. I feel like he was meant to survive this battle. We'll have more chances to kill him in the future. Besides, with the condition I left him in, he'll be an easy target. Next time we cross paths, even a child could take him down. This isn't as bad as you think, Halen. Today, we won.
For your sake, I hope they buy that excuse.
No, Halen. We must never tell them the truth. Tell them the seer slipped through our grasp. I trust you to keep this silent for the time being.
You want me to lie for you now?
It's for the best. Just trust me. I would do the same for you, Halen. Together, we will acquire any lost honor.
Fine, but next time I'll watch you. If you can't finish the job, then I will. There's no place for hesitation in a time of war.
Sylvie nods and Halen walks away. This leaves Sylvie alone with Shane.
So, how are you feeling?
I'm fine.
You look conflicted.
I said I'm fine.
Look, you killed Damek, Shane. I can understand what you're going through.
Oh, can you?
Yes, I did the same thing in the past. Before I joined the Triumvirate, I killed them all. Liars and cheaters deserve no less of a punishment.
You looked so sad, though. Like, how do I know what you said was true? A face can say a lot more than words ever can.
He was sad because he got caught, Shane. He thought you were dead, so he didn't expect it. You rose from the grave to deliver your vengeance. That is an opportunity he shall never have. He didn't hesitate to send you to your death, remember? There's no reason to give him a courtesy he never gave you.
That's going to be a decision we have later on, isn't it? Whether or not to spare or kill Shane.
Offering that olive branch is a good way to get yourself killed. There's no going back now, Shane. You're one of us. After what you did, you're their enemy. For good.
Huh?
Yes, but you are no longer an enemy of the Triumvirate. They will sing your praise and give you the victory of our battle was all
You still don't know about Damek. You still don't know about Damek.
I'm not sure how to feel.
Oh my god, Sophie's just doing this on the basis that Damek is actually dead when Damek is fucking alive.
Sometimes you need to act rather than react. Push those feelings aside and focus on survival. There are many rebels who will seek you out for revenge.
I bet you in the heart-to-heart that Damek is going to be sad AF.
And I expect you to show all of them the same treatment. Welcome to the Inquisition, Shane. The right side of history.
You're still a fuck. Okay. So, crew quarters, there's new shit. Yep. Howls. Howl heart to heart 1. I enter Howl's room and notice him standing with his back to me. He's in the corner of the room with his hands pressed against the wall. He's mumbling to myself, and I do my best to not startle him at all.
Bodies everywhere. Screams for help. Blood flowing. Corpses held tightly in their arms. They cry for the lost. But the lost do not answer, for they have no voice. He feels shame, like he's responsible for all of this. But soon after, he feels nothing at all. Until he rises again. Vengeance controls his mind. It drives his clouded judgment. We see the future, as expected, but also the past. We see your death, Monarch, even if it didn't happen. Why does time play such tricks on our memories?
He turns to face me. So he knew I was here all along.
Are these memories, or perhaps echoes? That is what I wish to talk to you about, Monarch. Our mind is overwhelmed, but not in the usual sense.
Tell me more. I'd love to help.
We expected you to say that. We've heard it before. It's almost like you had no other choice. Interesting. Things are different now that we're free. So different.
Breaking the fourth wall there, Howl?
Exiting that prison has taken its toll on our minds. And there, our sight was limited, but not anymore. Instead of just the future, we see everything. We see the past, and consequences of actions not taken. The possibilities are infinite, and this is hard even to fathom. We must narrow our vision. These details are unimportant. We may not be of much use at the moment, Monarch. It will take some time to adjust to these new circumstances, if we choose to adjust, that is. Further evaluation is required.
Everything is important to consider, even if it didn't happen.
We see a past where we failed to save you, Monarch. You fell to your wounds, and Alestia had no hope at all. Domik, too. The failure of the rebellion was certain. Pirates rushed to help, but not led by the same leader. Ulrich sacrificed himself to use the blade and create an army. The Monarch vessels, or perhaps the created seers. Why do you say that seeing these things is important? It is death and carnage, the loss of all hope, and ultimately, death. Only one thing remains constant in all of us, the Blade of Exodus.
So wait. Are there paths where things would have just fucking been like, bad end? Like, pirates rush in to help but not led by the same leader. Is that implying that if we fucking chose Nada that, well, fuck you, bye? I don't know. This is making me think a lot. Learning from past failures is how we become stronger and smarter.
We saw you say this as well. It led to ruin. Our culture was always focused on avoiding the wrong future. We've never thought about seeing numerous versions of the past. But we are sure that we see these things for a reason. Perhaps there is a secret to find, or a link hidden between them all. As we travel, we will do our best to learn more about these visions. We simply wish to make you aware that they exist. It is the opposite of everything we've ever encountered. But at the end of the day, so are you. A huge anomaly.
I'm not sure what he means since he speaks so cryptically. But he's having visions of different pasts, not just the future. That would be jarring to me as well. I only ever saw the future. But it was almost always a future that we wanted to avoid. How could you see a different past? That was always set in stone. let alone pass so differences to detail the deaths of my comrades. There had to be a reason he was right. But it's unlikely that we'd find an answer anytime soon. You'd have to put up with this burden for a little bit longer.
It pains us to see visions of your death, Monarch. Future or past, it is something we wish to avoid. You carry our legacy. You are everything to us. We request some time alone, if you'd give us the honor. We will do our best to focus on more positive things.
He turns back to the wall and places his hands upon it.
Sharing an apple in a back alley, a growing bond. Alcohol brings forth childhood dreams, dreams of change. You grow close to a comrade, despite their two-faced nature.
That's the other heart-to-heart conversations I've had.
A man seeks family to replace the one he never had. There is a girl who finds the strength to succeed in her friends. We wonder where we fit in amongst this group. We hope we can.
He looks down at the floor and I take a few steps back. For now, it's probably best to leave him be. He seems overwhelmed. In his situation, I would be as well. He has to process a lot of new information. If I can find my place in all of this, so can he. Perhaps we'd have more time to talk on the boat ride. I leave for the docks, confident to help him more in the future. Okay, we have completed a heart-to-heart, so I will save. And we're at 15, and Howl has entered the party. Okay, so... Alarinthian docks. Okay, we've seen everything. Okay, yeah, now we can do this. And docks. And... You were not able to return to the mainland until after Act 4. Knowing this, would you still like to set sail for Alarinthia? Sure! I make my way to the ship as Dominic instructed. Everyone is already gathered around. Am I late? Before long, I'm spotted by a few of my friends.
Hey there, Monarch. Glad to see you made it on time. They're just about ready to leave Mazeo. I'm so excited to see what Alarinthia is like. I mean, except for the heat, of course. Yikes. But I guess there'll be plenty of time to adapt.
Yeah, I don't think our visit there will be a short one. It's kind of a tall order, forming an alliance with Alarinthia. They take their independence seriously, even more than Valinor.
I think that Vivian will be our best shot, but I trust you and Dominic to get this done. You're a dream team, so this has to go well.
Upon hearing his name, Dominic's ears perk up. He turns around and runs to face me, excited. I'm impressed how fast he organized this.
Monarch, perfect timing as always. I was just telling my friends about you. Here, let me introduce you to some of them.
Please do not tell me you introduced me to them as the Monarch. He starts walking away, leading me to some nearby rebels. I've never seen them before, but they're lucky to be alive. The previous attack almost took everybody from us.
As your advisor, I have a few close friends. They'll provide me with counsel when you're busy. We both know that's going to be quite often, Monarch.
This much was true.
Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to the Monarch.
Why?
Treat him as you treated me. He's your new leader now. And after this war, he'll be the new ruler of Alestia.
Calm down and just introduce me as Monarch, Seer, or Schmarlem. I'd prefer. That was still overwhelming to think about. I guess I'll have to take things as they come, one step at a time. Dominic's friends take turns stepping forward, seemingly nervous.
I've heard a lot about you, Monarch. Until you arrived, you're all Damek could talk about. You have my allegiance. My sword is yours to command.
I like your voice.
And mine, too. Trust me, Monarch. We got this. After this is done, Alestia will belong to us. And if I'm honest, it's about damn time.
Voice does not match face right here. All that being said, wow, a first definite hyena.
Yeah, the Triumvirate has ruled over us for far too long. A change is overdue. It'll keep things nice and interesting. Please, Monarch, come to me if you need any assistance at all.
I like the other guy's voice. Yours sends tingles up and down the spine, and I'm not sure if that's for a good reason or a bad one. Also, we saw him in an earlier parallel chronicle with Domic. As if they rehearsed this, they all stepped back in unison. It was nice to see that Domic had the support of his rebels. They don't seem to hold him accountable like Howl did.
Well, I guess that's everything I needed to do. The food and supplies have all been taken aboard. Alex took care of it overnight. I guess he couldn't sleep.
I don't blame him.
Should we continue the rest on the ship? There's still a few people you need to meet. After that, we're in for a long, boring trip.
You say that like there's not going to be a chance we encounter Nada on here. I nod and start to follow him aboard. Everybody else follows suit until we're all loaded up. This will be my first time at sea. I hope my body takes it well. The boat is rather large and it can easily fit all of us. Wasting no time, as soon as we're on, they prepare to set sail. Pirates run about the ship, making last-minute preparations. I see even Milas aboard, and that slightly surprises me. However, before I'm able to say anything to him, the pirates take charge. Their leader steps into the middle of the deck and shouts orders.
Come on, everybody, let's do this! They'll write about this voyage in the history books. Let's give them something memorable to read about.
His crew nod and exchange witty banter as they prepare. It seems like life as a pirate could actually be pretty fun. I feel glad that we chose to support him. He seems nice. I walk to the center of the ship and slowly inspect my surroundings. It's a bit packed, but that's because nobody went to the crew quarters yet. I can tell from the outside that this place has more than enough space. As soon as Domic sees me, he runs toward me. A few people follow behind him. More introductions? I guess it's fair. I hadn't met many of the rebels yet.
Monarch, we're almost ready to set sail. Here's the people I wanted to introduce you to. It's important for morale that you get along with our forces.
Ugh, I'm beginning to slouch. There we go. I had to adjust myself. I'm beginning to slouch in the chair. It's funny because I play Planet Zoo a lot in my off time, and there I'm like sitting straight up and focused and intense things like that. This, even though I have to focus on like the reading and stuff, because there could be stuff that like lead me to decisions, I'm almost like watching just like slouched comfortably, just like, yeah, this is good. Like I could see if this was like a movie or something like that, or if this was a series that I was watching where I just got myself comfortable. So yeah, like I just start slouching in my chair, just like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel good about this. As opposed to sitting straight up. So yeah, every once in a while I've just been slouching in my chair and just have to readjust myself.
However, these aren't just any rebels. These are the seers that you created back at our HQ. They're grateful for your gift, and I think they want to meet you. I'll leave you to it. Come find me if you want to chat while we sail. Something tells me there won't be much else to do. Oh well. Worst case scenario, we can get Pro to bring out his cards.
With a smile, he runs off to attend to other business. Even though he stepped down, he was still a busy man. I wonder if that's the same fate that awaited me. Probably. I turn to meet these new people, ready to make friends.
I must thank you for this gift, Monarch. It was alarming at first, having all these visions. But now we know they can be used to secure victory.
What in the world is the finger positioning you have there? Like, that's that. Why are your fingers like cricked like that? It's like, yeah, I can't even do that with my fingers. I can't even have like what the hell is this finger doing? I can't do what this one's doing. Like, what the hell?
We know that we may not be able to enjoy
Woo!
this victory, but honestly, I would give anything to serve somebody like you. All I ask is that you go on to live happy lives after the war.
Okay, that took me off guard. I kind of like it, though.
These happy lives may elude us, but we've accepted that. To give our friends a bright future, no price is too high to pay. We are yours to command, Monarch, until we are of no further use.
I nod, dismissing them. It's good to see that things went well. Honestly, creating seers could have gone horribly wrong horribly fast. To know that I used the blade effectively gave me great pleasure. I continue to walk along the ship, taking in everything I see. After a few steps, I notice Ulrich and Pro are lost in conversation.
Stop whining, Pro. This trip will be over before you know it. I have my complaints too, but there's nothing I can do.
Is Pro not very seaworthy?
But you're not scared of the sea, Ulrich. Oh, this is gonna be like torture, I know it. Do you know where I can find some buckets?
Getting queasy already? We haven't even set sail.
Oh man, you're making it worse.
I laugh and continue walking. More of my comrades are talking amongst themselves. That's good. We had a long and likely boring voyage ahead.
But that's not Salus, right? He's been dead for a while. Oh man, I'm worried for Milas.
It's weird to see him alive, but I also know it's not really him.
Are you even listening to yourself right now? I can't believe we can say these things and mean them. Like, what's going to happen with no more Spirit Realm?
Who knows? Everything we knew was wrong. At the end of the day, maybe Valenorth will be fine. I don't see how some prison could have kept it warm.
You're right. And that's amazing. Let's push all this weirdness aside and agree on that. We'll ask Salus. I mean, Hal, for sure. When we get the chance.
Of course.
It seems that they're still digesting these events. I can't blame them. Everything is pretty crazy right now. But thankfully, we'd have plenty of time to continue to digest. Bleh! Digesting! Why is that word suddenly throwing me off? Alarenthia was almost a day away. At least we get to sleep. But until then, I'd better make use of the time to talk to my friends. A lot had happened in the last day. I should check up on them. The ship shakes slightly, and I lose my balance for a moment. I guess we're setting sail. I've never actually been at sea before. Pirates run amok as if getting to their designated workstations.
All right, everybody, here we go. We want a smooth voyage, so don't forget your schedules. Those of you with the graveyard shift, I'll make it up to you.
He climbs up the rope netting on the side of the ship and looks at the horizon. With a smile on his face, he points toward the vast body of water before us.
To the seas we go.
His crew repeats this as if it were a mantra before we set sail. I guess this is it. Whoa! There's vocals! I'm gonna shut up for a moment because I like this. You can't see me, I'm jamming the fuck out to this. Okay, as much as I want to keep listening to this, I do want to actually like look at the rest of this stuff for a little bit. So, Let's start with the we'll probably finish this heart to hearts off, and then I'll probably end it there. But first of all, let's do the Milas and Howl.
You are not my father.
Do you say this to inform us, or to console yourself?
Huh?
This question was self-explanatory.
It's just... I should be mad at you. Furious. You defile the memory and likeness of my father.
Do we? It seems that Salus was an honorable man. Are we not carrying out his final wishes?
What?
The freedom of Alestia. The destruction of the Triumvirate. When you look at it that way, it seems as if we defile nothing.
I don't know.
What are you wishing to know?
I want to know how I should feel right now. This is just so bizarre. I have no idea what to do. Back in Valinor, things were so simple and easy.
Why must you do anything? You could mull over this development for years, you know. At the end of the day, you should do something more useful.
Kind of a cold way of thinking about it, but yeah.
Like what?
This is not for us to decide, but have no worries. We will take care of this body, and using it, we will do everything we can to honor your father.
Thank you. I'll let you know if I think of anything. This might take a while for me to understand.
Very well, but please remember this. Lack of understanding is not a fault. In fact, it can be a strength. You flourished even though you did not know the truth of the spirits.
You're right. I think I need some time alone. I'll be down in the crew quarters, Hal.
Okay. And it'll start right back up again if I'm here, so good. Alright. I'll just go up one side, down the other. So let's actually start with Pro. I see Pro sitting on one of the beds, striking a match. Uses it to light some nearby candle. He's doing the date. He uses it to light some nearby candles, creating a laid-back atmosphere. The candle slowly fills the crew quarters with a sweet aroma. Very relaxing.
Hey there, Monarch. Perfect timing, actually. I wanted to talk to you. We were supposed to have a date, right? I mean, we wanted to see if we, click, or whatever. I'm glad we decided to start slow, without making mistakes. So, wanna have a seat? We can get things started. The candles are supposed to be relaxing, something about aromatherapy. I never really looked into it, but I'm scared of water, so I needed help.
Okay, and I will also need to figure out a... Oh, Jesus, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I've been, like, resting my... Is there anything I put my elbow on? Not within the easy sight. Like, I've been resting my arm on a table, because this is the easiest way to have my microphone and my thing there without my microphone and still be able to reach the mouse without blocking my screen. Maybe if I put it on a book, then at least it's not touching the table. Ah, so much shit around here. Helpful in some respects, not in the others. Okay, that's still... Oh, wait. I need to look into this further. I need to get a pillow maybe next time. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I have adjusted the books under my arm. There we go. I sit down beside Pro on the bed. Already one fact richer. So he was scared of water. He must not be having much fun. Makes me wonder what else I don't know about him. He's a mystery.
You should tell me about yourself, Monarch. And this is because I'm genuinely interested, I swear. Whatever you tell me, I'll never write down in any books.
Off the
That's
record,
what
I guess?
friends do, right? Confide in each other? I know I always talk about writing books and conducting interviews, but the truth is, this time, I want to keep things between the two of us.
I nod and tell him a random fact about myself. Nothing harmful, just small. He smiles and we start to exchange facts about each other. He seems really happy. The pressure not to write any of this down and treat me like a subject must be relieving.
Everyone always treats me with such apprehension, you know? Like, anything they tell me, I'll turn around and use it against them. That is a part of my business, but it's not like I want to do things that way. I hope people don't treat me that way after the war is over. I'm quitting this swindler's life as soon as I get the chance. I'll still write, but I won't use information as a weapon. Ever. Instead, I'll use it to help those in need. You know, I've done it before and it feels good. Information can either be a sharp knife or a warm embrace. Weird metaphor, I know. But like I said, I'm no fiction writer. I prefer to focus on stuff that's real, like people and their actions. They ripple outwards, affecting people in ways they'd never know. Of course, that's something that applies to normal people. There's nothing normal about you, Monarch. No offense, of course. You're going to be in charge of the entire world after this war is over.
Wow, talk about putting the pressure on. Pro senses this and changes the subject.
Can I tell you a little secret? Maybe it'll make you see things differently. You know, so you won't picture me as a bad person.
Well, you certainly are fitting the rogue part, but you also have the charming portion, so sure.
I can tell that a lot of people do, even if they don't say it. But all I'm doing is helping Damek win this war in the best way I can. It's not my fault I'm like this. All I can do is play with the hand I've been dealt.
He smiles, but suddenly a wave of fear overtakes my entire body. Holy crap, it is! He smiles, but suddenly a wave of fear overtakes my body. I shut my eyes tightly as that last phrase echoes through my mind. Where did I hear that before? Oh, right, during my visions. When I first touched the Blade of Exodus back in Valenorth. The series of visions ended with me getting stabbed by a man. A man that unfortunately I'm able to now identify as Pro. He lets out a loud sigh and slowly rests his hand on top of mine. What are you doing? A few moments later, he intertwines his fingers with mine, smiling. My heart beats incredibly fast as this revelation processes itself. What was going on? Why would he do that?
There was this little boy who got abandoned by his parents. He didn't know why, and that hurt him so much. Maybe they just didn't want him. But why? What did he ever do to them? It made no sense, and he hated that. He had to grow up on the streets, living on the scraps that other people threw away. It wasn't just his parents, you know. It almost seemed like nobody wanted him at all. That just made things worse. Can you imagine feeling unwanted by the world?
As he starts telling me this story, the anxiety slowly dissipates. Pro was a swindler, right? Maybe he was only pretending to kill me. I don't think Pro could hurt me. There must be a deeper meaning here.
He started to pick up on people's secrets. You know, just little things. After a while, he found out that people would pay anything to learn these secrets. As a teenager, he used this ability to live a luxurious life of gluttony and sloth. He knew secrets that could topple cities or destroy people's relationships. But none of that gave him satisfaction, because there was one thing he never knew. Why his parents abandoned him. Why they didn't want him. Did he deserve it? It was too humiliating to admit, so he made up another story. His parents died during the occupation. That was much less embarrassing. Everybody believed him, and that helped him fit in with a new group of people. This new group of people, the rebellion, wanted to use his skills for good. They accepted him with open arms, which is something nobody had ever done before. He knew he found his place in the world, and since then, he served his new family. He keeps prodding the locals for information, picking up all sorts of secrets. He wants to know why people do the things they do, and what motivates them. He does this so nobody has to suffer like he did, simply not knowing the reason.
I notice he starts to get sad and tears are forming in his eyes. He's talking about himself. He's the boy in the story, I can tell. Perhaps telling me as if it were a story made it easier for him.
So everybody thinks this guy is bad. A blackmailer and a swindler. He might be right, but it's just how he grew up. He had no control. He had nobody to show him how to act. Nobody to care or love him. At least, until now.
He squeezes my hand tighter and then sits up on the bed. Resting on his knees, he makes sure his face is level to mine.
I'm sure you've already guessed it, but the boy is me. Every action has a reason. Even mine, as bad as the actions are. I only want to see my parents again, face to face, and ask them, why did they hate me? Why did they throw me away like garbage? If they weren't proud of me, are they proud now? I'd do anything to learn where they are right now. Follow any order, take any course of action. I hope you can understand, Monarch.
I nod and raise my free hand up to stroke the side of his face. He lets out a soft gasp in response and looks directly in my eyes.
Thank you.
I lean closer, lowering my hand down to his side. We kiss and I can feel him tremble softly, as if he's shy. A single tear trails from his eyes as our lips press together. No matter what happened, he'd always be welcome at my side. We continue to kiss, the sweet scent of the candle slowly filling the room. The perfect atmosphere, the perfect mood to express our feelings for one another. Aww. Are you gonna make me feel sad for Pro? Okay. Back again. This touching, sad scene with Bro, and then all of a sudden we go back to this massive, rousing anthem of we're about to go traveling the world. Okay, Valessa Heart to Heart 3. I step towards Valessa, who had her hands on the ship's railing. She seems lost in thought, but who wouldn't be after recent events? Careful not to startle her, I simply stand beside her and rest my hands too.
You know, for once I thought things were going well. We had an army, and it seemed like our objective was clear, but they outsmarted us. They caught us off guard. We were careless. They always say to be cautious if things are going too well, especially in war. We got blinded by the victory we thought we secured. Nobody thought to question our course of action, or Domic's orders. And to top it all off, you don't need a scribe anymore. Vortim gets to lead our nation, and I'm left with nothing? That's hardly fair. Now I have no idea what to do with myself.
Oh, poor girl, I've accidentally destroyed you.
I just wish things could be clear, like they used to be. When things were difficult, our future was certain. We don't even know if we can secure this alliance.
Okay. We have a choice. A, don't worry, Valessa, we'll make things work out. B, my future is clear, as long as you are by my side. C, you're right. Everything seems so scary and uncertain. D, hey, it could be worse. We could have died in the attack. Or E, I can understand what you're going through, Valessa. I feel... After that last piece of dialogue, I feel so bad. Like that, for some reason, of all the things that have made me regret putting Fortem as leader, That's the one! That... Causing Valessa to go into an existential crisis is the thing that has made me feel the worst. Oh, I need that big heckin' drink. Okay. Don't know if Smooth is still here, so I think we just have to go with ourselves and we'll go, don't worry, Valessa, we'll make things work out.
I want to believe you, but I'm just not sure. We thought things would work out back at the Rebel HQ. Look how that turned out, Monarch. We were reckless. I don't want to sound mean, but I don't share those thoughts. It's important to take a step back and look at the big picture. That way, you don't get blinded and act based on your ego.
She lets out a loud sigh as we stare off into the horizon. The slow rocking of the ship pushes us closer together. With the distance closed, I can hear her more clearly. There's definitely more on her mind, I can tell. But I can't force her to open up, so I stand there in silence. My ears are open to her as long as she decides to speak.
I was so lost in thought, I couldn't sleep last night. I decided to help Alex prepare the ship for our voyage. We got to talking, and he told me something shocking. I'm not even sure if I should tell you this, Monarch, but I guess it's something you deserve to know. Remember how those people recognized us?
She must be talking about Grizz and Grayson. They both recognized us when we first met.
They recognized us too. Immediately. I assumed it's because they knew our parents. But then they told me how they knew them.
Oh, yes. What we learned from Grizz down at the Spirit Idol has finally come to Valessa. She closes her eyes and looks up to the sky.
Our parents were pirates, Monarch.
Oh!
Feared, hated, legendary pirates. Sure explains their trips to Mazeo.
Oh! Oh, I didn't know that part of it.
At first I didn't believe it. I was lost in denial, but he kept telling me more and more, and I had to accept it. I always pictured our parents as these perfect, untarnished people.
Sorry, I was trying to mute my mic and I couldn't get to it fast enough. Apologies for sneezing.
But they were killers. They broke the law. They pillaged. They were part of the reason the Triumvirate launched the occupation. I know what you're going to say. They wanted the idol. Piracy was a cover. And while you may be right, the excuse was still valid. At the end of the day, piracy was running rampant throughout Mazeo. Our parents played a part in giving them this perfect excuse. Don't you see?
Wait, so would Nada have actually known the parents?
And in doing so, they are partly responsible for all of those deaths. We always thought they were innocent victims. But were they really? Honestly, I doubt I'll be doing much sleep tonight either, Monarch.
She lets out another sigh, even more exasperated than the last one.
Let's sum it up, shall we? There's no more spirit realm. Our belief system was shattered. Almost the entire rebellion was killed in action. We were tricked. And to top it all off, I'm the daughter of some ruthless pirate killers.
Yeah, you've been put through the ringer, haven't you?
How am I supposed to process all of this? How will you? Your parents, my parents, Fortune's parents, all 6 of them. They're not the people we thought they were. What do we do?
Okay, once again offering the choice in case there is anybody else out there. All we can do is be better people than they were. Well, A. B. Say nothing, just hold her hand. C. Brag about it, of course. It's pretty awesome. Or E. Or D. I don't know. Let's play it by ear. Fucking hell. The pirate thing is new. The pirate thing is new to me. Like, Jesus Christ, I did not think that was going to be the case. That is one of those things where it's just like mind... Jesus. Nobody in chat. I'm going to go ahead and say nothing and hold her hand. Without saying anything, I step closer and hold her hand. She grips it tightly as they both rest on the wooden rails of the ship. Moments later, however, she takes a few steps closer to me. Placing her head on my shoulder, she wraps her free arm around mine. Hugging it tightly, I can feel her tremble as emotion wells up within her. How she feels is understandable. She's going through so much right now.
I'm just so lost, Monarch.
Honestly, part of me feels the same way. In that moment, there's nothing left to say. We stare off into the ocean, together. This is a turning point in all our lives. How we handled things would define who we became. Our conversation ends with that thought, bringing both hope and despair. Don't fucking Danganronpa me on this game. Alright. God damn it, another sad as fuck conversation that's then whiplash into this song again. Alright, I'm gonna save. We're still here, yeah. Okay, Ulrich 3. I make my way down to the ship cabin and see Ulrich sitting on a bed. At least whatever passes for a bed aboard a somewhat cramped ship. He's sharpening his sword, clearly exerting himself as he does so.
Hey there, Monarch. As you can see, I'm getting ready for combat. I give it 2 days before we are dragged into conflict. They don't use words to resolve things in Alerinthia. It's always a duel or a tournament. That's all they do. When we are there, we might as well speak their language.
He smirks, as if the promise of action is exciting to him. He did hate Alerinthia, but he also loved combat. It was his nature. Hopefully he'd get to tackle a challenge worthy of his skill while we're there.
Gotta make the most of a bad situation, right? I'll get to give my sword arm a real challenge. What about you, Monarch? Excited for this?
Once again, putting the offer out there. A, of course. Can't wait to secure that alliance. B, fighting side by side with you? That's a dream come true. C, yeah, marching into certain death? Born ready. D, I wish we wouldn't have to resort to violence, Ulrich. E, I could go either way. It is what it is. Take another drink, give my armor rest. Yeah, like next time I do this, I probably just have to have like a pillow here or something. Because, yeah, I mean, like, wow, I was not realizing, like, I am going to be bruised. Because it's a hard table, like, seriously, it's what the mic is sitting on. If I do, you probably could hear that, like, pretty obvious. Actually, this part is more where I'm resting at, so. Still, pretty hard. Like, it's not a surface that yields very much. I'm slouching again. There we go. You know what? I'm going to continue my succession of flirting with Ulrich. Since nobody else is here. Fighting side by side with you, that's a dream come true.
Glad to hear. I like that in a partner. Making change together. Now that's amazing. Not everybody would be so brave, you know. It's almost overwhelming to think about, actually. I have the support of the monarch of Alestia. There's almost nothing we can't accomplish now.
Oh, calm it with the monarch thing. I don't like it.
But I'm guessing you didn't come down here for a lecture. Have a seat. There's something I'd like to talk to you about.
I nod and sit down beside him. He slowly rests his hands on top of mine and holds it. So much had happened since the last time we were together.
I don't want to scare you, and I'm not really hiding anything. But we are about to go to my homeland. You might hear things. Can you promise me something, Monarch? No matter what happens? Remember me for the things I've done for you and the rebellion. No matter what you hear about me or my past, please, don't judge me. I wouldn't judge you based on your past, so I expect the same from you.
I nod. I can afford him that courtesy as long as he's not hiding anything heinous. But he doesn't seem like the type. He's truly devoted his life to the same cause as me.
Good. Then that's pretty much everything I had to say. I was really worried. I wasn't sure how to handle that topic. So rather than overthinking it, I just shot straight. Thank you.
No, I don't know how straight it is, considering.
It was especially hard since we're kind of involved now. Is that the right word for what we are? I don't really know. After what we did back in Mazeo, I think it's a safe term.
Okay, yeah, like the game just kind of made it almost like a make-out session, but yeah, nope, definitely implied things.
I don't want to complicate things, so I'll just be quiet. But don't think I've forgotten about what happened. If we get the time, I'd like for it to happen again. But I doubt we'll be able to do that on this ship. You can't even breathe without someone else hearing it. I have my ways of keeping quiet, but I wouldn't want to get caught.
He gives me another one of those trademark smirks. I get the feeling that he really does use alcohol as a social crutch. He's much more open and lively while under the influence. Is that bad? I guess it's not my place to say, as long as it doesn't get in the way of his duty. Something told me our visit to Alerinthia would put him in the spotlight more than ever. I get up from the bed and turn around to face him. He continues working his sword.
Sorry I didn't have much to say. I guess I'm a little shy. But it'll all make sense in time. I can promise you that. When that time comes, you need to keep your promise.
Oh fuck, could that mean there's something that's going to be revealed that might affect the relationship? That's not in one of these? He's really pushing this promise thing. Should I be concerned? I'd hate for him to use it as leverage if some horrible secret came to light. Thankfully, I see Ulrich as a good person. He wouldn't hide anything bad from us. Like he said, it'll all make sense in time. All I can really do is go about my business and wait. Too bad there wasn't enough privacy to have some more fun. Something told me we'd make up for that the next time we had the chance. Alright. Fortim. And Heart to Heart 4, which means that this will be his. Yeah, I would be able to do his loyalty thing. Vortin paces around the deck of the ship, deep in thought. Everything changed over the last few days, so this was insane. I hope he's handling it well. I'd better go and see how he's doing.
Hey there, Monarch. There's something that's been driving me insane. You know how we were all freaking out about Valenorth? Without the heat from the spirits, it'd freeze over and die. I mean, we believed it, but right now, it doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm is a prison, right? Nothing mystical or beneficial. It matches up with what people outside of Valenorth were saying. We were just superstitious and lived in a unique location. The monarchy gave us visions, and nothing more. We'll have to ask Howl the moment we get the chance. If it's like I think it is, then Valenorth will be fine. No risk at all. As hard as these truths are to believe, they do have their benefits.
In talking to me, he stopped his pacing, and he looks happy. It's true that a lot of our beliefs were shattered, but that's not actually a bad thing. A new understanding of the world gave us a new angle to tackle our problems from.
At least it'll make my leadership of Valenorth a lot easier. The one major problem I had to take care of, completely eliminated. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's almost like one last gift from the spirits. Let's just hope we get lucky like that in Alerinthia. Securing an alliance with barbarians sounds super difficult. They're stubborn in their tradition, just like Valenorth is known to be. But their tradition isn't steeped in the spirits like ours was. At the end of the day, will they even care about any of this? They almost live a world away, untouched by our problems.
What the fuck is going on? Is the cat making a noise? I can't tell. But... Oh yeah, what I was going to say was... No, yeah, they're touched by it. If the fucking Triumvirate came over there and just cracked their spirit idol almost immediately.
No point worrying about things out of our control, right? Maybe we should talk about something we do have power over. Remember that climbing gear Pro gave me money for? Well, check it out.
He wanders over to a bag on the deck and reaches inside. A few minutes later, he produces some clawed metallic objects. It appears that there's one pair for your feet and one for your hands.
They're adjustable, so you can wear them no matter what. You don't need to look for a foothold anymore. You can make them yourself. As long as you're strong enough, there's nothing you can't climb, Monarch. I know what I'm doing as soon as we get back. I'm heading to Valinor and climbing the Grand Tree. I want you to join me. It'll be a good place for you to learn.
You're just a teeny bit obsessed with it, Fortum.
I know what you're thinking, though. Why would I learn to climb on something so difficult? Well, you have gear now. I never did. It's a huge advantage. The only thing holding you back will be your energy. But with everything we've been through, this should be simple. I think it'll only take a few hours to climb, if I'm totally honest. I'll bring us a backpack with a bunch of water. Or maybe we should split that over 2 backpacks. Don't want to make one of us carry too much weight.
He puts the climbing gear back in the bag, clearly excited. It's a breath of fresh air to hear him talk about the stuff so passionately. Everyone else is so concerned about the war. It's nice to just push that aside.
Anyway, it'll be nice to make some history together. Not many people can say they've been to the top of the Grand Tree. Maybe we'll start a trend, a sort of coming-of-age thing, you know?
I don't think I've seen him this excited in a long time. For a moment, it feels like all my worries have simply washed away. They've slipped into the ocean, become nothing more than gentle ripples. Fortum starts to walk around the ship again and stretch his body. It's almost like he was preparing for the marathon of a lifetime. Of course, that had been a lifelong dream of his after all.
I know there's so much danger in our future, but there's happiness too, you know? Lots to look forward to in the end. Besides, I doubt I'll be key to our Alorinthian alliance, so in the meantime, there's not really anything else I can do. I've been practicing my climbing on the netting of the ship. People are worried that I'll fall off, but I tell them not to worry. It's very rare that I fall off, and I usually shake it off pretty quickly. I saw some of them get together and make some betting pools.
I feel bad for you, but still.
Voyage, so they make their own entertainment. I suddenly start to know why pirates enjoy fighting and gambling so much. When you're out at sea, there's just nothing much to do. It's pretty crazy. I'd go insane if I were a pirate. I just know it. After this war, I think I want to settle down on the mainland. Sailing isn't for me. I can say that with absolute certainty.
I'm not sure this life is for me either. It's just different. Valinor was a completely different atmosphere than any of this. Even Mazeo was a bit of a culture shock to me and my friends. I can't even imagine what Alarentia Balteus will be like. I look off to the horizon. It must be still pretty bleh. We must still be pretty far away. That's nice on a land ahead. How much farther to go?
Sorry for rambling on, but yeah, there's nothing else to do. I bet the other people will be able to keep your interest longer. But before you go, I have just one question to ask you.
I will be right back because I gotta adjust some stuff because people are home. So I will be right back in like 2 seconds. There we go. I'll actually remember to turn off that this time. There we go. Okay, give me a sec. There we go. I need to adjust the text on that in a moment. When I'm done, though. Ah! Crap. Wheel in the way. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. What is the question? He stops stretching and walks right up to me with a sly smirk.
Do we make it to the top or do we fail? What's your bet, Monarch? And no refusing. We're on a pirate ship, so we need to act like pirates.
I say we make it all the way top and make history, or I say we try our best but don't make it all the way to the top. Try your best but don't make it all the way to the top.
Realism, huh? I can accept that. At least you didn't bet that we'd fall. If you did, I'd be upset at your confidence.
One, there was no choice. Two, you fall. You've talked about climbing for I don't know how long, so you probably know a thing or two.
Remember who your master is, Monarch. You're an apprentice to the best, so I bet we'll make it.
And the last line just disappeared.
I guess we can figure that out when the time comes. Which, as I'm starting to realize, is pretty darn soon. Think of some ideas in your off time, alright? We'll announce the terms before we climb.
Are you gonna make it a kiss? With a smirk and a wink, he quickly runs off on his way. Full of energy, it seems. Or perhaps he's going stir-crazy. I don't blame him, being stuck at sea with nothing else to do. I guess our goal was clear. We'd climb the Grand Tree. That is, if we even made it back from Alestia in one piece. His ability to focus on the positive stuff during war is admirable. Admirable, if not a bit naive. Hopefully I could join in his positivity. But this blade on my back, both literally and figuratively, weighs me down. I might leave it on the surface when we climb. Yeah, that'd make things easier. A lot easier. And Fortim's loyalty scene is now available when you turn to the mainland. So yeah, boom. The game will notify you when you have access to the loyalty scene system. Loyalty scenes can be initiated by clicking that character at the war table. Cool, Fortim's ready. Saving again. So next up is Howl. Or Dart 2. Howl stares off into the ocean, deep in contemplation. I imagine that he'd have a lot to think about, and a lot to process. Last time we talked, he seemed conflicted about whether or not he fit in.
Monarch.
He turns to face me and gives me a small wave, welcoming me. I stand beside... Oh, you look at that, you're already acting a little bit more like a person. I stand beside him and we stare off into the ocean together. The sun causes it to glisten, sparkling with a gentle beauty.
We're still conflicted. These thoughts won't go away. Visions of needless violence and senseless destruction. You may tell us that they aren't real, but we are unsure. The emotions that well up within us are far too real. Is it possible for fake events to elicit real emotions? Or are we perhaps hearing echoes of the past?
Echoes of the past? What does he mean?
Let us phrase it differently. You know visions, yes? The monarchy used them to guide us to the best possible future. How can you know that best possible future without trial and error? There would still be many futures left unseen, and many pasts avoided. Knowing one true course of action requires disregarding millions of wrong ones. What if we are simply seeing these many avenues, almost like our visions have evolved? If not evolved, then perhaps gotten muddled. Rather than see the one important future, we see everything. We do not know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, Monarch.
It kind of makes sense when you think about it. Seeing the best possible future was like one side of a coin. The other side still exists. And it's left covered up, unseen. Many wrong futures, many wrong choices made. The mind likely blocked these out for a reason. Maybe he's sensitive after escaping his prison.
If this is true, then we exist unbound from time. A string in a labyrinth, with no one holding the other side. No one to tug. No one to guide us in the right direction. No one, of course, except for you. Our visions may be useless at the moment, but are yours. We would recommend that you try inducing a vision, Monarch. Not right now, of course, but in your own time. However, when you do, we would request a favor. If you see the future, embrace it, but also look into the past. The future you see blossoms from choice and consequence. Look back at those choices made, and conjure up the choices unmade. The loss, the heartbreak, the death. Maybe then you will know what pains us.
That's why we have saves. He's plagued with bad visions. He no longer sees the one true future. He sees everything. And that is a curse that I would wish upon nobody. I can't even imagine how many times he's seen us all die. And for what?
There is only one thing that remains constant throughout these visions. Yourself, the Blade of Exodus, and the death it feeds off of. There is something self-serving about all three of these things. You always have that blade, and the people around you always die. When they do, it's almost like that makes the blade more powerful. It's like there's an essence released from our bodies when we pass on. But is that the essence of life, or the essence of death? Perhaps that is a choice the wielder of the blade must make. What do you think, Monarch? Is that energy life, or is it death?
Oof. Kinda heady. When we think our dire spirit is released, that's our life, or if the energy is released when we die, then it's made of death. The concept is a very strange one, because, especially in this form, we consider death when our life leaves us. The life has gone out of him. So life leaves, but that's the essence, but that's what causes someone technically death. It's very strange. Based on that logic, nobody's here. I'll just go ahead and make the choice, and say that's life.
An interesting thought, to say the least. If it's up to the wielder, at least we know where you stand. That blade is such a mysterious thing, and it grows ever stronger.
He's almost cryptically telling me what I already know. I know that the blade deals with the spirits of its victims. The Triumvirate used it to create their own massive army. Even if I kept a portion of every soul, it would get stronger with every kill. That, combined with the monarchy aside, immense power. It'd been ironic if a portion of everybody the Triumvirate killed was used to end them.
We wonder if you possess this ability as well, to see the past, even when you stand in the present. Is that a curse meant only for us, or a gift to be further honed? It eludes our understanding, and we wish to know for sure. When we come back to the mainland, please return to Valinor. Close your eyes, concentrate on the past, and talk to your comrades. Do they speak as they do now, or as they did back then? We think that this answer will be very enlightening for us, and if it is, then maybe you can understand our plight. How do we know where we are if our surroundings fluctuate? What if we already had this conversation, and this is but an echo? Perhaps we reside at the end of time, simply witnessing our demise.
Okay, now he's lost me.
Sorry, we must appear insane. It's just hard, not being grounded in the present. The one downside of visions, being lost in time. Dreaming of that brighter future, and ignoring the present, looking back on the past, and focusing on our mistakes. We experience this tenfold, even mistakes we did not make. When we see your death, we feel pain. A pain worse than death, the loss of hope. That blade falls to the ground, coated in your blood. Comrades scream in agony as they befall the same fate. Then why do we stand there, only capable of watching? We wish to help you avoid this fate. That is our duty. We apologize for the lack of sense, Monarch. Your time is more valuable than that, limited as it is. Perhaps next time, we will make more sense of everything. But try not to forget our advice and our request. We know there is a purpose for all of this. There must be. Together, we will find it, rather than stand here and complain.
I nod before leaving him behind. He was suffering, I could tell. I had enough trouble with dealing with visions of the future. Howl must feel tortured. If there was anything I could do to help him out, I'd have to do it when I had the chance. It's possible that his body just doesn't know how to handle all of that energy. I was trained at a young age to handle it, so I had a grasp of what I should be doing. Is it possible that unless trained, someone's mind could be lost in the sea of time? Perhaps, I suppose. But that is a topic for another day. I returned to the deck of the ship, keeping a watchful eye on my comrades. On my watch, they would never meet the grisly fate that Howl had witnessed. For a moment I decided to stare into the sea, watching the waves and the ripples. I could have looked ahead to the future, toward Alerinthia, our final destination. But for a moment I considered looking away from the path we've set in stone. The sea continues to move, living a life of its own despite our interference. Alrighty. One last one. For Domik. Domik sits in a bed, staring down at the pendant I saw him hold back at HQ. He had faced death and came out the other side. It would change any man. What happened while he was gone? That's a question that's been on my mind. I approached cautiously, careful not to startle him out of his reverie. When I get close to him, he looks up at me, making no effort to hide his tears. He finally had time to process everything that happened back in those tunnels.
I was such a fool, Monarch. Shane tricked me. I was careless. I should have never let him get close to me. He knew my weakness and exploited it. He made me so happy to see him again, and I thought I was finally ready.
Weakness? What does he mean?
Will you have a seat with me, Monarch? I guess I should tell you the truth of what happened. From the sidelines, I must have looked incompetent. I mean, I'm trained in combat, you know. I should have been able to avoid Shane's dagger with ease. It's what they're all thinking, even if they don't say anything.
With my interest piqued, I sit down beside Domik. He puts the pendant into one of his pockets and turned to face me. I could tell that his crying spell was over. He was more calm and collected.
Back during the occupation, my parents were killed. I saw them murder my father with no hesitation. Blood. Everywhere. After that, my mother took my hand and tried to find us some shelter. We didn't make it very far. We saw all the bodies in the town square, mountains of them. The ground was full of blood, almost like an ocean. If you look closely, you can still see some of the stains, even today.
This seems unrelated to Shane's attack, but I sit and listen. He told me he'd tell me the truth, so I should see where this goes.
My mother made a judgment call and did something risky. What's the one place they would never look for survivors? That's right, amongst the corpses, covered and crushed by them. I was crying, but she helped me get underneath a bunch of bodies. She played dead and lay on the outside, holding my hand as tight as she could. I remember how she kept telling me that everything would be okay. That soft whisper.
Wow.
She didn't make it very long. They found her and stabbed her over and over. I felt her wince every time. The grip of my hand got tighter and tighter. Then, after a while, it just let go. I got to feel her final moments. The voice telling me that everything would be okay soon went silent. I was left there, under a pile of bodies, covered in blood. The last embrace I remember, the last time I held a hand. It's not something I could ever do again, it just reminds me of that day. Now you understand how Shane made me freeze in fear and surprise. He was the only other person I told this to. He used that to trick me. And he would have killed me too, if it wasn't for you and Howl. I was finally ready to get close to somebody again, and then this happens. That's how I know Shane wasn't just acting. He played dirty, and he wanted me dead. There was so much running through my mind the moment he stabbed me. I thought perhaps he was trying to win over the triumvirate so he could get more intel. But then he stabbed me again, and again, I knew that the man I once knew was gone. They did something to him while he was imprisoned. They won him over. I don't know how they did it, but they turned him into a completely different person. We must never let another one of our allies fall under their thrall. Never.
I nod, agreeing with Dominic. But that was a horrible story. Going through that as a child. His aversion to physical contact makes perfect sense now. And Shane is an awful person, having taken advantage of that. Startling Dominic, making him relive those memories and killing him. That was despicable.
Sorry for dropping all of that on you, Monarch. I just needed to tell somebody. It was eating away at me. And I trust you. I know you'd never do anything like Shane did.
That goes without saying. However, the room soon falls to silence. Dominic fidgets awkwardly, clearly nervous.
Well, I guess that's enough to kill any conversation. Like I said, I'm sorry for dropping all of that on you. Anything else you need to say to me while you can?
A, not everybody will hurt you, Dominic. Opening up is a good thing. B, say nothing. Offer your hand in comfort to Dominic. C, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's all so awful. Or D, honestly, I'm speechless. This feels weird, but I feel like they could write it in a gentle way where Dominic might actually do it. And I'm inclined to do it that way. Or we can respect his boundaries. Maybe if we offer the hand, it'll be better than forcibly taking it or having it be us who makes the move, shall we say. Yeah, I'm going to continue flirting. I say nothing and offer my hand to Dominic. In response, he winces and moves a few inches away. I'm not sure what I expected, but it just felt right in the moment.
I'm sorry, Monarch. I'm just not ready.
He gulps and gives me a nervous smile.
It means a lot, though. It really does. I just have to put this barrier up for my own benefit. I don't want to hurt you either, if that makes any sense.
I guess they went the realistic route. I feel bad for him.
This is war. I almost died back in the Rebel HQ. If I did, can you imagine the pain you would feel? Getting close at a time like this could be disastrous.
He smiles and gets out of the bed. I do so as well. I could tell that he was ready to end this conversation.
Well, shall we call it then? I think this is as good a time as any. Let that new information process for a while. When it comes to my past, that's about it. From now on, we can look to the future. I hope it's just as bright as I picture it.
With that, he walks away from me and back up to the deck. I was glad that he liked me enough to tell me about his past. It was my duty to never take advantage of that, like Shane did. Okay. So that is all of the heart-to-hearts completed. That was a long session compared to my usual one. So I am going to end it right there, and we'll head for Alestia next time. Once again, thank you to Smooth23 for hanging out a little bit in the chat, and for providing a couple of answers. A couple of responses, I should say, to some of the prompts that it gave me. Also, I forgot to mention this last time, thank you to TheGamer12330 for the follow. So, yay, cool. Yeah, so we'll continue this on Friday when we'll go to Alestia, but until then, thank you all so much for watching, and until we meet again on these dusty trails, have a howling good day.